Hi, my name is Naomi, and I am the creator of Two and or Four, who makes handmade products for your two-legged loved ones and your four-legged loved ones. Today I have something a little different. I'm going to be making leggings for myself. I love leggings. I basically live in them, and but this would be such a long video that I decided to split it in two. I'll be making what I call my paint splatter leggings, and you'll see why in it. Part one is all about cutting out the pattern, and you'll see that that takes probably just as long as it actually does to make the leggings. I just wanted to forewarn you that it does take a while. This is the pattern I'm going to be making. You'll see it a little clearer. I'll insert a color picture. So if you want to see what it takes to make a pair of leggings, stay tuned. Thanks. I will show you the pattern that I am going to make. It's a pattern that I got online, and they have different color panels in it. Now, my biggest beef with a lot of leggings is they don't have pockets, and I'm a pocket girl. I need my pockets. I need to have my cell phone and my glasses. And so I always add pockets to the leggings I make. I have added them to several pairs of leggings. I've actually already made this pattern once in this pink and black, which I really like, but I found they were a bit too high-waisted for me, so I modified the waist pattern piece. I cut off an inch on it, and I am going to try them that way. It usually takes me about that I like it. It takes me 3 times. Frequently, I can just do the adjustments right on the piece that I've sewn. In this particular case, I didn't really try the leggings on before I attached the waistband. That's the way it goes. If it bothers me that much, I'll just fold it down. My t-shirts are usually on the outside. And let's see, I added it to this pattern. This goes all the way down. And these, I don't remember if it was Butterick or McCall's, but I can definitely find that and put it in the link below. And then I made these, and they're a little different. They're a V, but again, I added the pockets to them, and it was a process figuring out where I really wanted my pockets, where I like them best, you know, usually it's, I'd say, I don't know, these that I'm wearing that I really like, probably about 4 inches below the waistband. So that's kind of where I'm going to put these for this pattern. And what I'm doing this time is I am making most of the legging out of black. I usually do. Though for the summer, I'll probably do some in different colors. And then for the panel, and I haven't decided whether I want a half panel like these, or I want a whole panel like this view. But I'm going to do it out of this fabric I need some color in my life. So first thing I'll do is I'll get out my pattern pieces, including the modified waistband. And all I did was I reprinted the waistband pieces, and then I modified it by taking out an inch in the middle of it. You don't want to do it at the top because that's your waist, and you don't want to do it at the bottom because that's where it really joins the main piece, body piece of the leggings. So I did it in the middle. And then what I did was I just followed the shape of the sides and redrew the side shapes. And then I put a note for myself that says less 1 inch in height. Okay, so I know that this pattern piece was modified. Here's the original. So I'm gonna kind of lay out my pattern pieces and just put like the pieces that I know I'm doing out of the black. And then I will take, I mean, I could technically do the waistband of this in the other color, but because so much of it is hidden by my t-shirts, I'm not gonna bother. And I have a lot more of the plain black than I do of the colorful fabric. So I will separate them. And then here is my pocket piece that I did. And in another video, I'm gonna show you how I did this. The pocket will be out of the multicolored fabric as well. So these 3 pieces will be out of the multicolored fabric. Oh, and by the way, this pattern I got online. I don't know if it's available anymore. It might be. It was Thimbles is the name of the company. I will look for the link and link the pattern. And so these pieces will be out of the black fabric. All right, so since I'm starting with the black, these pieces my multicolored will be out of the multicolored pieces off to the side. And then I'll lay these out. And the black fabric is from Joann's. It's their performance fabric. It's 95% cotton, 5% spandex. I am one of those people that unfortunately has trouble wearing polyester, especially high counts of polyester, which is a shame because they make so many pretty knit fabrics that you could use in leggings, but unfortunately they're polyester and I can't use them. All right, let me see if I can change this view. So this fabric, as I said, is from Joann's. I only ever buy it either with a coupon or when they have a good sale on it. There's a couple of other places that I get cotton spandex from, and some qualities are better than others. They're thicker. And at spandexworld.com, you can actually get medium weight, which is what this is, and you can get heavyweight spandex. But I find the medium weight for me works fine, and I'm always hot, so that would, you know, not work for me, the heavyweight, unless it's really cold winter. So I'm just laying out the fabric, smoothing it out because it's been put away for quite some time. Get rid of that. And this fabric does have a wrong side and a right, a right side and a wrong side. And you have to pay close attention because sometimes it's difficult to see. You know, I don't know if, normally I lay all my pattern pieces in the same direction. And what I mean by that is if I put this at the top of the fabric, which is the top of the legging, I would take, and that's the back piece, I would take the front piece and I would do the same thing. I don't know if in this particular fabric whether there is a difference between up and down, but in some fabrics you actually, the way the light hits it because of the weaving of the fabric, you actually can tell they look like they're two different tones of the same fabric. So I don't know if I want to risk that, or I just am willing to give it a try because you do use so much less fabric. You know what? Let's give it a try. Let's find out for one pair. And if it doesn't work, then I will not do it again. So I am working with this fabric with the grain runs up and down, and that's important for the stretch. You usually have more stretch horizontally than you do vertically, but in this particular fabric, it really is about the same. And I can tell which ones are the finished edge, which is called the selvage, and that runs in the same direction as the grain, and I can tell because it's curled over, and if you uncurl it, you can see where it was actually on a loom. This fabric is kind of wrinkled, which probably means that when I cut my pieces, because I'm cutting it double layer, probably means one of them will be slightly off, but that's okay. I can work with that. So I just smooth out the pattern piece as much as I can. And I have fabric weights that I use. These, but I also have these, which I bought at Home Depot, and I saw Mary, she actually glued two together and then had her girls paint them, and I thought that was a great idea, so I might be engaging my grandchildren to help me do that. One of them in particular loves to do crafty things, so I'm sure I can get him to help me. So I just put down a weight, you know, all right. Just see if I have enough room for this piece. Yes. Okay. And then I will cut them out. And I will save the scraps for other things. Like I use scraps to make some leggings for some dolls for a friend's girls not that long ago. So I'm going to use my rotary cutter. I have a rotary cutter. It's ergonomically easier for me to control. I've already had a problem with the tendon in my thumb and stuff from too much cutting with scissors. So I definitely use a rotary cutter, and I found this one to be pretty easy to use. Probably should have changed the blade. I do change them fairly frequently, especially if I've been cutting a lot. I have a separate rotary cutter for fleece. This is a 45. This is a 45 mil. I have a 60 mil one for my fleece and Sherpa and Minky that I cut out. I just find because they're thick fabrics, they need more depth. I mean, you can do it with a 45, but it's just a lot easier. And every now and then there's a spot where it's just stubborn, so I just take my scissors and snip it. Or there's a curve that's hard for me to do, so I just snip it. Yep, and there we go, I've gotten the paper, which happens. Normally what I do is I actually have medical paper, and usually I will just take the pattern and trace it on the medical paper, and this way I have the original one, because it's a pain to put these together. And I usually cut off any like long straggly. All right, so that piece is cut up. All right. So, in this particular case, I have some notches in there in the pattern, and I used to do it this way, where if there was that, I would make a little tab, but I've gotten more now that I just make notches in my pattern. I found a pattern notcher tool. And so you just, wherever there's a notch, you just put the tool there and you press down, and it cuts it out for you. Then I can take that and I can mark it on my pattern. I'm just using a chalk pen. It comes out in the wash. Because this is black, it's sometimes a pain. I have fabric markers, but the black, it's hard to do it on, so I just do it in chalk. And I think that's really kind of it. On this piece, I obviously will now turn it over and do the other side. But the other thing that I do is I will actually extend that notch, because I'll tell you right now, when you serge, I mean, this won't be bad because I'm going to be adding the waistband right to it and I'll be serging. But sometimes in other spots that you need markings for, so you'll mark and then you'll realize that your serger has cut off your markings. So I just flip the pattern piece. That's it. And I will put, so when I do leggings that are really like the back and the front look very similar, I will usually mark one of them, at least one, either the front or the back, or sometimes both, with chalk letters so that I know this is the back piece, this is the front piece. The other reason I'm willing to try to see if there's a difference in the grain is because in between the front and the back, there's going to be that panel. So it would not be as visible because the panel will break up the black color. These are my paper scissors. I have separate scissors for paper and fabric. I never use my fabric scissors on paper. My grandmother taught me that a long time ago. Would help if I first cut it out. The thing I love about this fabric is that it's pretty forgiving as far as, you know, if you need to stretch it a little bit, you can stretch it. It's not such a big deal. Right, just one more piece down. And both of these pieces said cut one mirrored pair, which means you either put right sides to right sides together, or in my case, I put wrong side to wrong side together. All right, let's see if what's left will be wide enough for the waistband. I think it will be. So in this particular case, it says cut 2 mirrored pairs. So that means I have to cut 4 of them. So I'll just cut it twice. And again, in this particular case, I'll put wrong sides together. And I go ahead and notch the center and mark it. Because when you're making leggings, and you put in a waistband on, well, actually, when you put in any waistband on, you need to find the center. Okay. That's a little more than what I need. All right, that'll work. And we will just move it as close. Make sure that it's hitting, because the bottom piece of the fabric is not quite there. So I will just make sure that my entire piece is hitting fabric. On both the top and the bottom. The only thing with this cutter is it's not hand interchangeable. So if you can cut with both hands, this won't work for you. But they make, well, I was born a lefty, broke my arm severely when I was 6, and I was upset because my class was learning to write, and so I told my mother I was going to learn how to write with my right hand, and she said, sure, sure, not believing that I actually would, and I did. And so now, though, there are still many things, like I will reach for things with my left. I have almost equal strength in both my left hand and my right hand. But I write and eat with my right hand. But my point was, they do make a lefty one of the rotary cutter. All right, so that's one set. And now I'll cut another one. And we'll fold this again. Once again, bearing in mind the end here to make sure that I cut 2 full pieces and don't cut off one of the edges. pieces in the black fabric. So now I'm going to cut the pieces out of the colorful fabric and their side panels. But I decided that I really like this colorful line on it, and I want that. So I'm going to have to cut one at a time in order to get those, that particular pattern of the fabric in. So what I will do is I will lay down one piece, and then I will go to where it repeats, and I will flip the pattern piece over so that I get a mirror image of it. So this is the bottom portion of the side panel, the leg side panel. And this is the top portion. So I'm gonna lay that here. And a lot of this top portion is going to be covered by whatever part of the fabric I use for the pockets. So I'm going to think about that once I've cut out the actual side panel. And I need to put my glasses on in order to cut this. Just straighten this up a little and put my pocket over there. So you see, I want the really colorful parts of the fabric to be at the bottom. That'll really show. So now, when I do the next one, I'm going to turn the pattern over. So I'm just going to put an S that this is for the side, and an F on this one that this is the front. So that's where they attach to, and I'll go back and do the same thing to the other piece. I need to get my tape and fix that, but I can do that after. So, this is front, and this is the side. other thing I want to mark on here, though I think it's pretty clear, is this is the bottom. All right, so now I'm going to take my fabric, I'm going to lay it out again. And I'm going to do these in mirror image. So since I did them face up before, I'm going to do them the pieces face down. And if you see, this will be the mirror image of it. I really like leggings with side panels for two reasons. One is because it gives you a chance to put a contrasting, or pattern fabric. And two, it also allows you to insert pockets quite easily. And you can modify a pattern that you have that's single, like the front, instead of it being a panel, is just one whole piece, like the back of these are. You can actually modify them and turn them into a side panel. And it's pretty easy. And if that interests you, I can do a tutorial, though there are tutorials online on how to do it. But I could walk you step by step. All right. All right. So now I have my two pieces cut out, and they are mirror images. There's no point in putting them right sides together because they don't go together to each other. They go to other pieces. All right, so now I'm going to cut the upper panel. And I am definitely going to change the blade before I do my next project. So now I have 2 mirror images, and I will just put them aside. So now I want to do the pockets. Now for the pockets, you actually need 4 pieces. And I made this pocket simply by deciding where I wanted it on the legging to fall and how deep I wanted it. And then I just kind of traced the outline and decided the angle that I wanted. So I think I'm going to try to, again, I really like this burst of color. So I think I'm going to, let's see, I want to see how it would look. Do I want to do the burst of color, or do I want to do you know, I really like that burst of color. I'm going to do the pockets out of the burst of color. So in order to do that, I am actually going to cut pieces of the fabric away. Yeah. So this piece is about 10 and a half. Yeah, 10 and a half, 10 and a half. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away basically this block of fabric, and I will cut my pockets from it. Well, it went a little deeper than I wanted to, but that's fine. And I'll just put the rest of that fabric over there. I'm just going to gather these pieces and put them with the black pieces. Okay. So now what I can do is I can kind of line up kind of see where it falls. You know what? I'm going to do it a little differently. I am actually going to cut this one more time. And let's see. If I put that one there. Yeah, gives me enough fabric to work with. Yep. I just want to see what I'm going to get here. Okay. So plenty of space. Okay. And again, I'm going to mirror image the pockets. Side. Okay, and this I purposely did do wrong sides together because that's how I'm going to sew it. All right. So now I'm going to do mirror image again. All right. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and clip these pieces together. And that's it. I've cut out all the pieces. So that was part one of a two-part video. The second part of the video will be about sewing the leggings, but as you can see, it did take some time, and I actually sped up the video in certain portions and actually deleted a little bit of it. Otherwise, it just would have been such a long video. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you'll be notified, especially for part two, when it is posted and when I post new videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you.